by Hardaway. Turns the corner. Wrap around. Carter lays it in. Suggs has to make something happen. Man down. No foul. He knocks it in.
It's what he loves to do. He's going every time to the glass.
Jalen Suggs, welcome back.
The Orlando Magic finally looks like one of the NBA's most exciting young teams. Paolo Banchero is becoming a superstar. Franz Wagner continues to improve. And the defense is already one of the best in that league. If Orlando wants to take the next step and become a true championship contender, they have one major question to answer. Who is their point guard of the future? Because I believe the Magic may already have their answer. And if I'm right, they should consider trading Jalen Suggs and give Anthony Black the keys to the offense. Now I know that sounds crazy. Jalen Suggs is one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball. He's tough, competitive, and he plays with the type of energy every running team needs. But building a championship roster isn't always about keeping every good player. Sometimes it's about finding the players that fit together the best. And I think Anthony Black might be the player that unlocks Orlando's offense. Growing up in Texas, he was a standout in both basketball and football before deciding to fully focus on basketball. That decision helped him become a 5-star recruit, a McDonald's All-American, and eventually the 6th overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft by the Orlando Magic. The reason scouts loved him was simple. At 6'7", Black was the size of a forward but the skills of a point guard. He could defend multiple positions, create for teammates, and control the pace of a game. And now we're starting to see that potential translate to the NBA. Last season, Anthony Black averaged 15 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds while showing major improvement in his overall game. But the biggest reason I believe Orlando needs to seriously consider making him a starter is because of his fit next to Paolo Banchero. Paolo is at his best when he attacks defenses, create mismatches, and punish teams as a scorer. Orlando needs more consistent playmaking, and that's where Anthony Black separates himself. He's a natural point guard, he sees the floor, creates easy opportunities for teammates, and I believe he fits better next to Paolo because he allows Orlando's franchise player to focus more on scoring instead of creating everything for himself. Meanwhile, Jalen Suggs has become a great player, but his strengths are different. Suggs is an elite defender and an incredible competitor. He's more of a defensive combo guard than a traditional floor general, and that's not a criticism. Championship teams need players like him. But Orlando's offense has struggled at times because they don't have a true playmaker controlling the game. Anthony Black gives them that. And what's more interesting is that he's still improving. Coming into the NBA, the biggest question was about his shooting. Teams would dare him to beat them from outside, but since his rookie season, he's made progress. And as defenders respect his jumper more, his ability to attack and create becomes even more dangerous. That's exactly the type of development you want to see from a player entering his 4th season. But the biggest advantage Anthony Black has might be something you can't teach: his size. At 6'7", Black is built differently than most NBA point guards. In today's NBA, smaller guards are targeted in the playoffs. Teams hunt mixed matches, force switches, they try to find someone they can attack. Anthony Black makes that much harder. His size allows him to guard bigger players, switch across multiple positions, and provide defensive versatility while still running the offense. A 6'7" two-way point guard is extremely valuable, and that's why I think Orlando has a difficult decision coming. This offseason, the Magic picked up Anthony's team option. Next year, he'll become a restricted free agent, and I believe Orlando will eventually reward him with a long-term contract. Because at this point, he's not just a young player with potential, he's becoming a major piece of their future. Which brings us back to Jalen Suggs. If Orlando decides Anthony Black is their point guard moving forward, Suggs could become one of the most valuable trade pieces on the roster. Why? Because every contender needs perimeter defense. Every team is searching for players who can guard elite scorers and impact winning without needing the ball constantly. Suggs fits that description perfectly. One potential trade I will explore is with the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans could use an elite perimeter defender at the guard position, while Orlando could use more shooting around Paolo Banchero. A deal centered around Trey Murphy is something I would at least look into. Murphy's shooting, size, and ability to play without the ball could give Orlando the spacing they've been missing. Now, whether New Orleans will actually make that move is another conversation, but that's the type of aggressive decision a team has to consider if they're trying to build a championship roster. And honestly, I don't think Jalen Suggs is the only difficult decision Orlando may eventually have to make. I also believe the Magic should consider exploring a Franz Wagner trade because of the long-term spacing issues. Franz is a talented player, but in the NBA, spacing around your star matters. And Orlando has to figure out what type of roster gives Paolo Banchero the best chance to succeed. But that's a conversation for another video. Right now, the biggest question is Anthony Black. The Magic already have their star. Now they need to decide who will lead their offense for the next decade. and I believe that player is Anthony Black. He's a 6'7" two-way point guard who has improved every season, developed as a shooter, and continues to grow as a playmaker. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that determine the future of a franchise, because holding on to a good player is easy, but recognizing when another player fits the future better is what separates good teams from the great ones. Jalen Suggs has been a huge part of Orlando's rise, but Anthony Black might be the player who takes them to the next level. The only question is, will the Magic realize it before the rest of the NBA does?